Well, you're not going to make many threes against Arizona State. They take that part away from you. So the fact that we can still find a way to make the defense wrong and get 40-something points in the paint, that means that we have a couple of identities. We certainly make a lot of threes, but that's not part of our necessary identity. We want to be known as a team that's very in rhythm and take what the defense does and make them wrong. And I think that shows it. To beat a team like Arizona State's the hardest team to beat because they're so physical. And every pass and every dribble and every cut is contested. And it really challenges you to stay focused and have grit's one of those words that gets overused a whole lot in today's society. But I don't have a better one for that performance, the way the kids really were very, very gritty.
It seemed like every time you guys weren't able to get a basket, you guys were able to get an offensive board and somehow put it up.
Yeah.
Get that. I know the grit you spoke of.
Yeah, and moving people around. I thought, if you try to stand there and let them go against a half-court set defense, you can't find very many seams. So when we were able to get some movement and move them around, and get a shot up on the glass, I thought Hannah Johnson came in and gave us a couple of really big tips for balls, even though she didn't come up with a couple of them. She tipped 4 or 5 balls. Katie got a couple of those in there. And in a low possession game that you're always going to play against these guys because of the way their pace on offense, you have to get a few of those. And I thought that was a big key tonight.
I thought one of the biggest plays that kind of stood out to me in the third quarter, Arizona State's on a 6-0 run. Kelsey actually throws a turnover, bad pass, and then Chantel steals the ball and then gets the layup. You know, and just kind of talk about how big that was for you guys.
That was Kelsey in the back smirking when you said that, by the way.
That was on film.
Here's what I'll tell you. I had told Coach Schaefer before that quarter, if this thing gets under a certain number, I won't tell you all what it is, but we're going to take a timeout. And it was getting ready to be that until Chantel did that. But she is so good at that. And to be able to do that without fouling that far, that was a huge breath of relief. It got that separation back where you just didn't feel like it was in question again. And then I do think in the fourth quarter, every time we needed a big basket, we got one.
That stretch, I guess, late second quarter after Quinn picked up her third foul, you guys kind of went inside to Chantel and really tried to establish that at that point.
That was the focus. That was the talk. Get paint touches, whether it's throwing it in there or driving it in there. And, I thought she did masterful work in there. It's one of those things, if I had a daughter that was a post player, I'd be getting those films and looking at her footwork and her patience and her poise.
And she became the second player in program history with 1,000 boards, 1,000 points. What does that speak to her as a player?
Consistency, understanding and willingness to play a role. Those are hard. Rebounds are hard. They're hard. And to look back and know even that if you look at her freshman year with her injuries and just the way the playing time was, she's really done this in 2.5 years, which is mind-blowing. If anybody ever saw Amber Hall play, she was more Amina-like and getting those tip balls and those speed. Chantel gets tough, hard rebounds over some of the best post players in the country in the 2 years that we could all, I think, agree is maybe the deepest the Pac-12's been in a while. So for her to have done that in this 2.5 year span, really, really another legacy lever for her.
Talk about the play of Ari McDonald. I know she had a coast-to-coast layup or a couple of them, also a big three. Just everything that she's provided for your team.
She's really settled into her role and is becoming a star in it. Early in the year, and it takes sometimes more than a year to figure out what's a good shot and what's not a good shot. Time and score, understanding time and score, understanding that you got Plum and Osahar on the floor with you. So she's taken coaching as just like you'd expect an upperclassman to do, and now she knows. She doesn't not only know what we're doing now, she knows why we do things, and the confidence that her teammates give her to attack the basket. If she doesn't, she gets yelled at by people way more influential than me. They are on her to be in that role, and I thought she gave us some really, really good minutes defensively as well, and she's really starting to settle in and becoming a star in her role.
And you guys are obviously known for pretty much a lot for your offense.
Yep.
Always lighting people up. You held them to under 38% shooting, or 16 turnovers, scored a lot of baskets off that. Just what does that do for you guys when you play that on the other side?
we look at our defensive efficiency and our points per possession. It's something we take a lot of pride in. That numbers continue to go down as the year goes on. A couple of things with this group. If you can give this group a good scouting report and take away their first, second, and third options, our team is really, really good at keeping each other focused on it. And as the season goes on, we have more and more film. And I've got 3 of the best assistants in the country to break that stuff down. And in our practice, we've got a great men's practice squad that comes in and simulates them and becomes the other team's players. And those are all things that nobody really notices until you're in our practice gym every single day. So that stuff's starting to all come together. It's this time of the year where hopefully our plan starts to take effect. I'm going to tell you too, I think being able to rest these guys in the fourth quarter the other night was a huge part of the reason we were able to finish that game. If we would have had to have gone and played those kids their normal 38 or 39 minutes, we might have not had the legs to do it tonight. But I think looking at it in the big picture of the weekends, we look at them as a series of sprints, and we just went 2-0 in that last little sprint.